Here are the horoscopes for the week of the 19th to the 25th of August 2013. We had the grand trine in water all through the summer, and this was brought to an epic close by a half moon in Scorpio last week. So many people are reporting that they've been dredged through the emotional mire. They've had lots of stuff brought up, the psychology, the emotional programming, and it's all been very much about intense emotion and actually seeing your dark side, having stuff brought out of you so that you can actually deal with it once and for all. So after a very strenuous and soul-searching week, it's very beautiful to actually start this week with a gentle aspect, which is Venus in Libra. So Venus flows into Libra on the weekend of the 17th and 18th of August, and Venus is at home here. So where Venus rules Taurus and Libra, Taurus is more like the rhythm and our attachment to the earth and nature and food and animals. Libra is more like the dance or the melody and its expression through air. So we've got this lovely symphonic, free-flowing, creative effortlessness that comes in with Venus's elegance through Libra. So at the beginning of the week it's well worthwhile just flowing, just enjoying, just creating and breathing, because the week will soon speed up, or at least appear to. So the moon enters Aquarius on Monday, getting ready for the second full moon in Aquarius on Wednesday. So this full moon will really be building because the moon actually hits the sign a couple of days earlier, so we'll feel that build up. Now what we need to do here is look back to the last full moon in Aquarius, because the one last month was at 0 degrees, this one is at 28 degrees, so we've had a story across the month of Leo. The first full moon in Aquarius was more like a beginning of a process, an initiation it felt like. Challenges coming through this month have been thick and fast, and it's all to do with your sovereign responsibility for what frequency you're transmitting, because what happens on the outside is merely a reflection of what's going on the inside. So with that Scorpio moon, we've had a lot of the inside dragged out so that we can actually deal with it, which is very good news. It wasn't easy, but it's good news. And now what we'll see with the second full moon in Aquarius feels like a level 1 completion. So if you think of a 3-tier initiation process, then this may well be level 1 complete. So it's worth looking back, it's worth really soulfully exploring what journey have you actually been on, what was the meaning of it, what was the message, and what have you learnt. Because far too often we take what goes on the outside and give it importance and a story, but it is just a reflection of what's going on the inside of you. So what have you done to create that, to attract it, and what can you do to change the future? Because Aquarius is the time traveller and realises that the frequencies that we send out are actually what's creating our reality. So a big pulsing Aquarius full moon building towards Wednesday. So it's worth taking that breath of fresh air with Venus in Libra on Monday, Tuesday, and just doing that reflection and letting go and getting into your new flow before we get the crazy bonkers full moon in Aquarius. We then move on to Friday, when Mercury goes into Virgo, very closely followed by the Sun. So Mercury and the Sun work well together. They're the two closest. Mercury is the closest planet to the Sun, and its reputation of speed and delivering messages is because it has the quickest orbit around the Sun, and it takes the Sun's radiating force and magnifies it and passes it onto Earth. So we've got that messenger, fleet foot speed going on there. So obviously they've both been in Leo. Mercury and the Sun have been passing through Leo, but when Mercury goes into Virgo, then we're going to feel the pace quicken, because Virgo is a very quick sign. It's all to do with our mental acuity, our understanding of the cycles of time, but also the harvest and our connection with nature and what needs to be done by when in order to achieve what. So the feeling here is that we could get very consumed again with outside projects, with to-do lists, and with having to think and organise everything from the rational brain. But what this grand trine that we've been experiencing over the past few weeks should have taught us is that we can actually slow the pace. We need to go deeper and do less and do it more heartfelt, more harmonically. So although things seem to speed up on the outside, be very discerning about what actually matters. Because most of the time we just create our own lists and then we drive ourselves crazy trying to complete them. But the Pluto aspect of the Grand Trine has told us to strip back to the core, decide what fundamentally matters, and then work from that place on the long plan to actually achieve your goals and to really reveal your purpose rather than just running around like a rat in a wheel. So be careful through the month of Virgo, as this Mercury aspect may well seem to pull you out, but it's just a test. It's just a test to see if you can stay in your core centre and actually look at the whole cycle from planting to harvest and actually make a plan that matters rather than just one that's keeping you busy for the sake of it. We then build to an even bigger chart on the 25th, which is the Grand Cross in the cardinal signs. So a Grand Cross is when you have two sets of planets opposing and squaring each other, which makes a kind of face-off across the solar system. So we're quite used to Jupiter in Cancer expanding us emotionally, breaking free of limited feelings, and the lovely opposition there of Pluto shoring us up and making us know what really matters to us and what we stand on and for. Joining them squared is going to be Venus and Uranus. So Venus is about the flow, it's about what we value, it's about what truly matters to us and our soulful creative expression through Libra. And then Uranus in Aries is the revolutionary. We've had this for a while now, a couple of years, and Uranus is rewiring our brain as it passes through Aries. So we need to do different, think different, be different, and actually change everything. So it's quite a revolutionary and slightly crazy aspect. So those two are a very odd opposition. We can only wait and see how this actually feels, because with a Grand Cross you can feel like you're being pulled to one side and then to another, and you really do kind of get pulled in all directions at once. But when you think about a wheel rotating, the only part that doesn't move is the centre. So whenever you're feeling pulled apart by Mercury in Virgo telling you your responsibility and what you need to do, and this Grand Cross, then what you can do is gently crawl into the middle of the wheel and to sit with that perspective and actually then make a judged decision on what matters and where you're going to put your energy. So the story of the week is just building faster and faster, but are you going to be a victim to running around, or are you going to take control and be the pace setter and actually realise that you have more power than you think you do? So a very revolutionary week, but it's up to us where we put our intention and our energy in order to pass forwards. So that's the horoscopes for this week, and I'll see you next week.